He says investigations about the alleged fuel saver tablets being sold in the country are underway. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport has promised to start rehabilitating roads under the Manzini North constituency this week.
The news. The Minister of Commerce, Mancoba Khumalo, represented the Kingdom of Eswatini in the African Continental Free Trade Area Council of Ministers held in Accra, Ghana. The minister is in company of, amongst others, the Director of International Trade Department in the Ministry of Commerce, Lungile Portia Dlamini.
The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Senator Mancoba Khumalo, represented the Kingdom of Eswatini during the 9th meeting of the African Continental Free Trade Area Council of Ministers responsible for trade held in Accra, Ghana from the 25th to the 26th of July 2022. The meeting was presided by the 11th meeting of the Committee of Senior Trade Officials convened from the 20th to the 23rd of July 2022 under the theme Steps Towards the State of Commercially Meaningful Trade under the African Free Continental Trade Area. During the senior trade officials meeting, the Kingdom of Eswatini was represented by Lungile Portia Dlamini, who is the Acting Director of International Trade Department at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade. The main objective of the ministers' meeting was to consider the outstanding issues under the first round of negotiations covering both trade in goods and trade in services, and to finalize the negotiations as directed by the 35th Ordinary Session of the Head of States and Government to facilitate the state of trading. On trade in goods, issues considered were tariff schedules, the outstanding rules of origin products such as sugar, textile and apparel and tobacco, including the adoption of the draft of the AfCFTA Rules of Origin Manual. The agreement seeks to ensure that inputs of these products are sourced within the African region during the production process. This will assist in improving the productive capacity of the African countries to promote industrial development and to facilitate regional value chains and supply chains. Other issues considered include the African Free Continental Trade Area Automotive Package, focusing on the development of a comprehensive strategy within the framework of the AfCFTA. The strategy takes into consideration the establishment of the Automotive Task Force for effective implementation, policy elements including the finalization of the outstanding rules of origin for automotive. Eswatini can also take advantage in the automotive sector considering the prospects. Also considered were the reports of the committees on trade in services, investment, intellectual property rights, competition policy. The ministers' meeting also provided a ministerial directive on the application of provisional schedules of tariff concessions. The Honorable Minister delivered a speech on behalf of SACU on the tariff schedule for the 5 countries which are member states, namely Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Namibia, and South Africa, since Eswatini is the current chair for SACU. The negotiations are in advanced and final stages to allow the start of trading, as the business community is also actively involved in the process through the African Business Forum, awaiting the finalization of the negotiation process that they can start trading and reap the benefits of Africa's liberalization process as envisaged by leaders. The African Free Continental Trade Area Agreement, covering both trade in goods and services, was signed by head of states of governments in March 2018 in Kigali, Rwanda, and the start of trading was launched in January 2021. The 54 member states of the African Union have signed the AfCFTA agreement, and 42 of these have ratified and deposited the instruments of ratification and have become the state parties. The main objective of the AfCFTA is to create a single market for goods and services to increase trading among African nations, which are the 55 member states. The AfCFTA Council Ministers in September 22 considered the adoption of tariff offers which may be ready by that time, ahead of the envisaged extraordinary African Union head of states and government in November 2022. Khumalo assured that the meeting that SACU's commitment to the AfCFTA process He also expressed that they hope that the tariff offer will be shared with the rest of the AfCFTA in the coming days. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport needs over 5 billion emalangeni for roads upgrade, including 401 kilometers of presently unpaved roads. This is contained by the Ministry's report tabled in the House of Assembly on Monday.
Last year, Eswatini Member of Parliament Mduduzi Matsebula raised a motion in Parliament saying the Minister of Public Works and Transport should furnish the House within a period of 30 days with a clear schedule, realistic timelines, and budget estimates to be requested in the 2022-2023 financial year national budget for the rehabilitation of severely damaged major roads such as the Mhlaleni Nhlangano Road, as well as regraveling or heavy blading of other gravel roads in the regions. Matsebula was seconded by the Nzingani Member of Parliament Lufo Dlamini on the motion. On the written responses of the motion that was delivered by the Minister of Public Works and Transport before the House on Monday, the Ministry reports that the Ministry has set a program of action to upgrade several unpaved roads from gravel to standard surface roads. The roads included on the program are 11 in total, and they are the Nhlangano Sicunuza Road, Pigs Peak Bulanzeni, and the Hlatikulu Sitobola Road, amongst others. The Ministry says funding required for the upgrading of roads that are now due for upgrading is over 5 billion emalangeni. The report says this will cover about 401 kilometers of presently unpaved roads. The budget for the implementation of this program was requested for the 2022-2023 financial year, and the response was negative due to financial constraints, says the report. The report says the ministry then prioritized some of the roads for upgrading, and funds for the D78, D12 and the MR21 road were secured. The minister says in respect of the D78 road, which is the Eswatini Mojane Road, the ministry undertook the construction of 6.5 kilometers from Eswatini to Sikangeni, and the ministry shall construct another 6.5 kilometers from Mochane to Sikangeni in the current financial year. The report further mentioned that the ministry was able to get support for the maintenance of the country's roads such as the Sitegi Good Shepherd and the Mbadlane Simuye Road, amongst others. The ministry says in the current financial year, the ministry will look into modalities of identifying 150 to 200 kilometers roads that will require upgrading to paved standard using chemical stabilizers. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samgatsuwe Koza, Babane.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport has promised to start rehabilitating roads under the Manzini North constituency this week. Officials from the ministry visited the Manzini North constituency structure to do an assessment on the condition of the road leading to the Inkundla, which was previously inaccessible, forcing some projects to be put on hold.
The Ministry of Public Works officials visited the Inkundla and rehabilitated road to assess the state of the roads and how they can possibly assist. The Member of Parliament of the Manzini North, Makford Sibanza, says they've been knocking on the ministry's doors, and finally they are happy to be reported to that something will be done in some of the state of the roads, where they promise that starting from this Thursday they will fix the Mzimnene Road.
Sitha sikubonge lokhu bese sinengcinamba njengoba ngishidwe ukuthi bese kungangeneki ngisho enkundleni la gedeni la bongangena kumcoka kakhulu kithi lokho sibese ke siyahlala siyinkundla sita ne program yokuthi vele besicelela okulishumi ukuthi ke kulo kwelishumi sesibhekaphi ngalesine sikatsakalile ukuthi besingaya emzimnene lapha ngasesiyeni nje kubhlungu kakhulu kuleyo ndzawo leyo akuhambeki usuke lapha endase Steaks Romeo shona ledulo sitawubona ke ilitiko lingithembisile kwekuthi vele iprogram yethu siyinkundla litayisekela.
The Undersecretary in the Ministry, Nhlanhla Motsa, who represented the Principal Secretary, says they are committed to putting the interests of the nation. This, they will give it their best, but asked for Maswati to exercise patience in the meantime.
Imigwaqo eMaswati iyawubonakala ukuthi masinyane nathi mali sekutholakele yawuba mnyama litiyela ngoba vele Silitiko sesikubonile ukuthi loku phoku regravelisha every now and then akusasidi ngoba nale equipment lesinayo mhlawumbe le toti kulumba le machine ayisenele ngenxa yokuthi simaswati siyathi kusitingvula tibetinengi kakhulu kangangoba kwalimala ngisho lena lethathi imigwaco le itarot nale gravel akusakhulumeki kuyo so ngiko kungazuthi vele ubhekale kuyakhalwa kepha ke litiko litimisele kubambisana naso sonke isive semaswati.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport tabled a report that they need about 5 billion mbalangeni in total to fix the country's roads. Reporting, I am Kian Msibi with Manzini, Manzini.
In a press release by Clerk to Parliament, Honourable Robert Makongo and Honourable Victor Malambe are in Zimbabwe to pay a courtesy call to the President of Zimbabwe, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa, on behalf of the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, as the Southern Caucasus region. The aim of the visit is to introduce the newly elected president of the PAP, Honourable Chief Fortune Charimbira, who is a Zimbabwean. Each member state was represented by 2 members. Honourable Makongo is the newly elected rapporteur for the Pan-African Parliament. The 2 MPs left for Zimbabwe on the 24th of July and are expected to return on the 26th of July 2022. Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority Consumer and Stakeholder Management Manager Tekla Maphosa says investigations to collect data about the alleged fuel saver tablets which are being sold in the country are underway. Ntabiseng Makongo, fuel tab stockist at the company, says selling the fuel saver tablets Be Epic in Eswatini guarantees Emaswati that the tablets will not cause any damages in their motor vehicles' engines.
Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority says there is no data to prove that the alleged fuel saver tablets can assist motorists to save fuel. ISERA Consumer and Stakeholders Management Manager Tekla Maphosa says motorists can use the tablets at their own risk.
What we have done as the authority is we've accessed some of these tablets so that we can look at them. What is important is that we have data that informs us so that we can correctly advise the nation. Our interest is on saving our consumers. So currently there is no available data that can definitively say how these tablets work to save petrol, how these tablets will affect the vehicle, be it a petrol vehicle, be it a diesel vehicle. So the matter is still under investigation by the authority, where we look at available data. We also have a lab that will also seek to assist when it comes to this matter. So if there's anyone who has data, they are free also to share with the authority.
Be Epic fuel tab stockist in Eswatini, Ntabiseng Makongo, says Emaswati can trust the product as some countries started using the tablet in the year 2009.
We did a thorough research and we discovered that the company name that has developed this product is Pro1. You can actually go and do research on Pro1. What they do, they are into the petroleum industry, and as well they use EPA to approve and test their product. So we are excited about it. We've been using it and the results are phenomenal. I am telling you, all cars, be it on petrol or on diesel, all the cars. And I get more excited when I get reports from the older cars, because those cars are the cars that normally have problems. Remember, most of the people are only focusing on the fuel saving, whereas it's not only about the fuel saving, it's also about putting your car on this fuel maximizer so that it can also be taken well off.
The forever increasing fuel prices have left motorists not able to afford it and pushing them into finding alternatives like the alleged fuel saver tablets. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla Mbabane.
Eswatini Higher Education Council, ESHEC, has organized a workshop for institutions on guidelines for registration of qualifications on the Eswatini framework. ESHEC Executive Secretary Mboni Dlamini hopes that after the workshop, tertiaries will produce graduates with competitive qualifications worldwide.
Eswatini Higher Education Council, ESHEC, is working around the clock to attend to concerns over the quality of qualifications that are being produced by tertiaries across the country. ESHEC Executive Secretary Mboni Dlamini elaborates about the importance of the workshop, which aims to fix qualification produce in the country.
Whatever qualification that appears in our framework, we know exactly that that qualification is in sync with what is required in the rest of the world in terms of the attributes that we are looking at. We are not very happy in Dlangamandla because what we are currently producing is not in line with what industry needs, with what employers need. So we want to create a situation where our institutions are responding to the industry needs.
Calvary Theology College presiding officer Dr. Absalom Muntu Dlamini appreciates ESHEC for organizing the workshop for institutions of higher learning.
It advertises an institution because you say we are offering this kind of qualifications at this particular level. These are the skills, these are the competencies that this individual is going to come up with and the values that you will come up with. And with all those things, it makes anybody know that in that institution there is something that somebody can get and further his studies and get to the market as well with those skills and competencies, etc., that he has acquired.
The workshop is also attended by a delegation from the Education Department in Lesotho, which hopes to benchmark with Eswatini education quality. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Tandokuhle Mdluli Ezulwini.
The Commission on Human Rights is deeply concerned with the increase in the incidences of violence in the country, including the brutal killings and burning of properties. The kingdom has been known for its peace and stability for many years, but over the last year, the situation has deteriorated to a point where security forces are shot at and killed in cold blood. Although there has not been conclusive findings on whether the killings and destruction of properties are linked to the unrest of yesteryear, the right to life and right to property as enshrined in the Constitution has to be respected and protected by all. The Commission wishes to reaffirm its stance that violence cannot be a solution to resolving conflict. The continued spate of killings, if not addressed, will continue to weaken the peace and security of the country and is likely to result in gross human rights violations and serious economic setbacks, which has repercussions in the enjoyment of socio-economic rights. In that regard, the Commission registers a heightened threat of human rights violations because the attacks often result to human suffering. The homogeneous nature of Eswatini cannot afford any further civil disorder which may worsen the human rights situation and bring the country to its knees. In this regard, the Commission reiterates the importance of finding peaceful means to address our grievances, to avoid further loss of life and the much-needed structures for the country's recovery efforts. The Commission calls upon all Eswatini to refrain from any actions which may result in violation of human rights. Such acts include killings, destruction of property, arbitrary arrests, as well as violent actions and incitement thereof. Moving on, the World Vegetable Center has donated 5,120 seed kits to Eswatini. The seed kits were presented by the Eastern and Southern Africa Director for World Vegetable Center, Dr. Gabriel Rugalema, to the Ministry of Agriculture's Principal Secretary, Sydney Smelane.
The Eastern and Southern Regional Director for the World Vegetable Center, Dr. Gabriel Rugalema, says the seed kits are a catalyst towards achieving Eswatini's zero hunger strategy.
The government of Eswatini formulated its zero hunger strategy as a programmatic tool towards eradication of hunger and malnutrition in line with the Sustainable Development Goals. The TAVI project must be seen, and it is indeed a contribution to Eswatini's zero hunger strategy.
Director General for the Taiwan Council of Agriculture, Vincent Lin, says the vegetables in the seed kits provide adequate vitamin A and C for a family of 8, as well as supplementary protein and iron, which tackles malnutrition.
I think we all know that the vegetable is a very important crop, especially is the key to contribute to tackle the malnutrition of people in the world.
The Principal Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Smelane, says this is an opportunity for the many Swazi households that will benefit from these seeds to commercialize their farming.
A handover of seed kits that will enable individual homesteads to realize subsistence farming. This is highly appreciated as it supports livelihoods for the low-income Maswati.
The seeds will be distributed to 16 primary schools, 51 neighborhood care points, 53 farmer groups, 80 champion farmers, and approximately 5,000 farming households. Sifiso Ngumalo with Gianni Msibi for Eswatini TV News, Malkens Research Center.
And now we'll have a look at our financial markets.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Moving on, we'll have a look at our sports news. Samgeli Somdluli, who is a member of the medical committee at Premier League of Eswatini, is urging team doctors to give much attention to their players during the pre-season period and avoid premature injuries. Mdluli says the doctors also ensure that players get enough rest. Mdluli was speaking to Eswatini TV Sports in Babane.
Ahead of the new season of the 2022-23, different teams continue with their pre-season preparations. Samgeli Somdluli, who is a member of the medical committee at Premier League of Eswatini and also happens to be the national team under-20 doctor, says club doctors should give much of their attention to the players during this time ahead of the new season to avoid premature injuries.
We encourage physical trainers and team medics to work together and make sure that athletes undergo medical checkups before they start the intense loading of the pre-season. We encourage teams to attend the training during this time and provide players with good diet and hydration. Water should be enough. Players should get enough rest after training, and we encourage teams to have clubhouses so that the players are monitored during training and after training so that we know they've rested and they were given good diet. This is the time to make players. So let's assist each other to have quality players in the country.
Mdluli concluded mentioning that majority of injuries that occur during the league games are a result of how a pre-season of a particular player went. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabiso Msunera, Mbabane.
Governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Philip Nisi, says the FNB Eswatini Ngonyeni Challenge is the right platform for business opportunities, but also the right competition to show internationally how the Kingdom of Eswatini has grown when it comes to golf. Nisi was speaking during the first day of the competition that featured professional golfers and amateurs at Ngonyeni Golf Course.
First day of the FNB Eswatini Ngonyeni Challenge got underway at the Ngonyeni Golf Course, where international golfers from Zambia, South Africa, Denmark, and many more took part of the competition that also featured amateurs. Governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Philip Nisi, says that the competition is the right platform for business opportunities without neglecting how it will grow the golf industry in the country.
Lokwendekako ke lomhlanje nangilokuthi uhlangana nebantu labaphuma kulamanye emave sihlephulelana lwati siyakhuthatana lokukhulu ke ukuthi lokhu kuletha kukhula kweeconomy ngoba kufika kwalabantu lapha eveni sebasebenzisa imali lesingathi foreign currency bayigucule bayethathe bengemalangeni bathenge la ekhaya baphindze bahlale nasemahotela. Siyajabula nje kakhulu singema golfers to be part of this. Nekudlala ke nanel pro akusilula kudlala nel pro ngoba usadlala naye so uyafunza nawe so corrector lapha nalapha thina labanye bethu kade sagcina nalokudlala sesiyathinzitsa nje nemaphutha lapha nalapha ukudlala nel pro.
FNB Eswatini Managing Director Dennis Mbingo says that their target is to grow the golf industry by also exchanging ideas with different stakeholders.
No other sport will give you a minimum of 4 hours of quality time between the stakeholders. So you get to play for 18 rounds for half the day And that is of value. And we do think that it's valuable for the economy, it's valuable for the country, and it's definitely valuable for the business.
Different golfers, both professionals and amateurs who took part of the tournament, expressed their joy.
Vabnanzi nje siyadlala igame lesilitsandzako sidlala nema-pro namuhla ngidlala nemngani wami Ricky kumnanzi konke siyabonga.
Kanze, it is well organized. The course is in good condition. Everything is happening ngendlela lekumele yendeke ngayo, on time and everything. And the hospitality ke kudealing ngisho it's so good.
Sisemnanzini la kumnanzi nedemagrim agijima afast isho sibalungiselela ama-pro vele but ke njengoba nibutile experience vele nathi sibuka lokuthi ama-condition adlala ngawo lama-pro abanjani, so yasithokotile nathi siyalincenga impela.
The competition is really high. Playing with high caliber guys like James really shows you how average the average golfer really is.
Thank you. The tournament that teared off today will finish on the 30th of this month, with FNB Eswatini sponsoring the tournament with a package worth 1.4 million emalangeni. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msondera, Ngonyeni.
That's all for now. Before we go, let's have a look at our headlining stories.
The Ministry of Public Works and Transport needs over 5 billion emalangeni for roads upgrade. The Eswatini Energy Regulatory Authority says investigations about the alleged fuel saver tablets being sold in the country are underway. The Ministry of Public Works and Transport has promised to start rehabilitating roads under the Manzini North constituency this week.
And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update. From myself and the crew, thank you for your company. Good night.
Ngizakusinja intombi yakho yangale eSouth Africa.
Babe, igama lengaka sekwanje ukuthi kasofuna ukubamba ifone, like I want to ngikhuluma nabantu. Do you even know who I'm talking to?
You know, with me and this guy here, you've got 2 boys at your service, 24/7. So feel free. We're gonna plan how to travel this thing over to SA.
This life that we're living. This life that we're living. The world's in turmoil, corruption and abuse. This life that we're living. This life that we're living. As Bambaneni and fight this evil. This life that we're living.
Kena?
Good day, sir.
Good day, Officer Pendile. Ngithemba ukude tinkinga.
Kude tinkinga mphathi. Bangithume ukuthi ngizokulethela na incwadi.
Incwadi yani manje le?
Angiyadi mphathi buye headquarters.
Oh. Sibambusela emsebenzini. Ngicela ungibisele emsebenzini.
Hawu. Tindzaba letimnanzi leto mphathi. Sitojabula nathi ukubona ubuye e-office.
Tindzaba